Hey guys, welcome to Princeton's English channel, and also welcome another motivational video. Our today's video is about how to relax your mind. So guys, if you are new in my channel, please make sure to subscribe my channel. No more talk. Let's start our today's video. Part 1, the breaking point. The city never slept, but Ethan Cole wished it would just once so he could hear himself think. He was 32, a project manager in Chicago, and one of those people who seemed successful on paper. Good job, good apartment, a few good friends, but inside, Ethan felt like a house with the lights on, yet nobody truly home. Every day began the same. Alarm, emails, coffee, traffic, noise, more noise, people asking, people shouting, people needing, notifications exploding like fireworks inside his brain. He wasn't living, he was reacting, constantly. One morning, Ethan sat in his car in a parking garage, hands wrapped so tightly around the steering wheel that his knuckles turned white. His heart pounded like a drum played too fast. His breath came in thin, sharp pieces. He whispered to himself, "Why am I like this? Why can't I relax?" It wasn't panic, it was overload. Burnout, a mind stretched too thin for too long. He wasn't afraid of dying. He was afraid of living this way forever. A sudden knock on his window made him jump. It was Maria, a coworker. "You good?" she asked, peering inside. He forced a smile. "Yeah, just tired." Tired, that was the only word he had left for everything. Tired meant stressed. Tired meant overwhelmed. Tired meant, I'm about to break. But Ethan didn't say any of that. He went up the elevator. He answered emails. He nodded in meetings. He pretended everything was normal. Inside, though, he was screaming without making a sound. The moment that changed everything, at lunchtime he walked outside. The sky was gray, Chicago wind sharp and unforgiving. He passed a small park where an old man sat feeding birds. Ethan kept walking until he heard the old man say, "Your mind is louder than this city." Ethan stopped. How, how do you know that?" he asked. The old man smiled without looking up. "You walk like someone who forgot what silence feels like." Ethan sat on the bench beside him, the weight of his exhaustion sinking into the wood. "I don't know how to relax," he admitted. "It's like my mind has 1,000 tabs open." The old man chuckled softly. "Everyone thinks relaxing the mind means escaping the world," he said, "but it's the opposite. Relaxing your mind means returning to yourself." Ethan stared at him. "What does that even mean?" The man pointed toward the pigeons calmly pecking at the ground. "Look at them," he said. "They're not thinking about tomorrow. They're not worried about yesterday. They exist in the exact moment they're in. Humans lost that ability." Ethan waited for something more, some big secret, some complicated technique. Instead, the old man said, "The mind relaxes when the heart returns home." That didn't make sense to Ethan, but somehow it felt true. The old man stood up, dusting crumbs off his coat. "Come back tomorrow," he said. "I'll teach you how to breathe again." Then he walked away. Ethan sat on the bench long after he was gone. For the first time in years, his mind felt quieter, even if only for a moment. And that moment, small, fragile, temporary, was enough. It was hope. Part 2, learning to breathe again. Ethan didn't know why he returned to the park the next day. Maybe it was curiosity. Maybe it was desperation. Or maybe it was because for the first time in years, someone had looked at him and actually been him. The old man was already there, sitting on the same bench, scattering crumbs like he'd been waiting. Without looking up, he said, "Sit. Your mind arrived 10 minutes before your body." Ethan sat down slowly. "You came back," the old man added. "I don't know why," Ethan admitted. "You're here because your mind is tired of the noise you keep feeding it." The first lesson: breathing is not living. The old man leaned forward, placing a hand on his chest. You breathe every day, but you haven't taken a real breath in years. Ethan frowned. I don't understand. The old man pointed at Ethan's shoulders. Your lungs are high. That's stress breathing, shallow, fast, survival mode. Survival mode? Ethan asked. Yes, the old man said. When you breathe like that, your body thinks you're running from danger. Your mind never relaxes because it thinks something is attacking you. Ethan swallowed. It felt uncomfortably true. Now, the old man said, try this. He placed both hands gently on his lower stomach. Breathe into your belly, not your chest. Ethan inhaled. His chest rose automatically. No, the man said gently. Your mind is pulling the breath upward. Try again. Ethan tried again, and again, and again. Relax your shoulders, the old man instructed. Loosen your jaw. Drop the weight you keep carrying. After several attempts, something shifted. Ethan felt his lower stomach expand just slightly, like a balloon filling with air. Yes, the old man said softly. That is breathing. The exhale came slow, warm, peaceful. For the first time in forever, Ethan felt air reach a place inside him he didn't even know existed. That, the man said, is how the mind begins to relax. Not with pills, not with breaks, not with vacations, with breath. The second lesson, noise is not sound. The old man suddenly went quiet, not speaking, not moving. Ethan looked around. Cars, distant horns, people talking, footsteps. How can anyone relax with all this noise? Ethan asked. The old man smiled. Faintly. You hear noise. I hear sound. What's the difference? Noise is what your mind resists. Sound is what your mind accepts. Ethan blinked. The man continued, you've trained your brain to treat every sound like a threat, a notification, a danger, a demand. He tapped Ethan's temple. When your mind is at war with the world, every sound becomes noise. So what do I do? Ethan asked. Listen, the old man replied. To what? To everything. The old man closed his eyes. Ethan hesitated, then closed his too. What do you hear? The old man asked. I hear traffic. Good. Now don't judge it. Just observe it. Ethan tried. What else? I hear footsteps. Let them pass. They are not yours to carry. What else? Estás? A dog. Barking. Let it be. Ethan inhaled slowly. What else? The old man pressed. Wind, Ethan said softly. And birds. Good, the man said. You're hearing the world, not fighting it. Ethan opened his eyes. Something felt lighter. The world hadn't changed, but something inside him had. The third lesson. The mind cannot relax in a cage. The old man stood. Walk with me. Ethan followed him to a small path behind the park, lined with trees that softened the city just enough to feel human again. You live in your head, the old man said as they walked. All your fears, all your what-ifs, all your stress, locked inside. Ethan sighed. I don't know how to stop overthinking. You don't stop it, the old man said. You replace it. Replace it with what? With presence. They stopped near a small fountain. Put your hand in the water, the man instructed. Ethan hesitated, then dipped his fingers into the cold stream. What do you feel? The man asked. The water, it's cold. Good. Stay with that feeling. Don't think about work. Don't think about problems. Just think about the water. This moment, this second. Ethan tried. For 10 seconds, he wasn't worried. For 10 seconds, the world didn't exist. For 10 seconds, the noise inside him went silent. It was the calmest he'd been in years. The old man smiled at him gently. You see, relaxation is not a place you escape to. It's something you create moment by moment. The man leaves him with a warning. As they walk back, the old man said, return tomorrow, but know this: relaxing the mind is simple, not easy. The world will fight you. Your habits will fight you harder. Ethan nodded, a small spark of hope glowing in his chest. I'll come back, he said. The old man looked at him with eyes full of quiet wisdom. Good, because you're not just learning to relax your mind, you're learning to reclaim your life. Part 3 then, the art of letting go. Ethan woke up before the alarm, not because he was rested, but because something inside him had shifted. He felt a pull, an unfamiliar calm urging him back to the park. For years, he had opened his eyes each morning with heaviness wrapped around his chest. But today, there was a different kind of weight, a lighter one, the weight of hope. He hurried through breakfast, skipped the email-checking ritual, and arrived at the park 10 minutes early. The old man was already there, sitting on the same bench, hands folded neatly over his cane. You're early, the old man said. I didn't want to be late, Ethan replied. The old man smiled. That means your spirit arrived before your thoughts. The fourth lesson. You cannot relax while holding tightly to pain. The old man turned serious. Today, he said, we face what you've been avoiding. Ethan felt something inside him tense. What do you mean? Your mind is heavy, the old man continued. Not from tasks, not from noise, but from the weight you refuse to put down. Ethan swallowed hard. Sit, the man instructed. Ethan sat. His heart picked up pace. Close your eyes. Ethan closed them. Now tell me, the old man said, what do you think about when your world is silent? Ethan hesitated. The thoughts came immediately. Regret, mistakes, people he disappointed, things he wished he had done differently, the constant pressure of not being enough. My mind goes to the past, Ethan whispered. Good, the old man said. And how long have you been punishing yourself for things you can no longer change? Ethan didn't answer. His throat tightened. You cannot relax, the old man said softly, because you are holding on to wounds like they are memories. Ethan opened his eyes. His hands trembled slightly. I don't know how to let go, he admitted. You don't need to know how, the old man replied. You only need to want to. He leaned closer. And you do. The fifth lesson. Write it down and release it. The old man reached inside his coat and pulled out a small notebook. Old, worn, the edges frayed. This, he said, handing it to Ethan, is where you'll start. What is this? Ethan asked. A place to empty what you have been carrying? The old man gave him a pen. Write down everything that keeps your mind heavy. Every thought, every fear, every person, every moment you replay, every guilt you keep nurturing. Ethan looked at him nervously. I've never done anything like this. You've also never been calm, the old man said. Perhaps it's time to try something new. Ethan opened the notebook. The first page was blank. He stared at the emptiness. Right, the old man said gently. Ethan wrote slowly at first. I'm tired of being overwhelmed. I'm tired of pretending I'm okay. I'm tired of feeling like I'm failing someone. I'm tired of my own mind. Then more came. I'm scared I'm not good enough. I'm scared I'll never feel peace. I'm scared something is wrong with me. I'm scared I'll always live like this. The words spilled out like a confession he never knew he needed to give. When he stopped, his hands felt lighter. Good, the old man said. Now, rip the page out. Ethan hesitated. But rip it out, the old man repeated. Ethan tore the page free. It trembled in his hand. Crumple it. Ethan crushed it into a tight ball. Now throw it. Ethan tossed the paper toward the nearby trash bin. The old man smiled. How does it feel? Yes. Ethan waited. It hit him slowly, but undeniably. A little lighter, he said. Oh, exactly, the old man replied. Your mind cannot relax when it is holding on to what should have been discarded. The sixth lesson, rest is not laziness. They walked deeper into the park, where the sunlight filtered softly through the trees. Ethan, the old man said, you confuse rest with weakness. Ethan raised his brows. What do you mean? You punish yourself for being tired, the old man explained. You force yourself to keep going when your body begs you to stop. You treat rest like a luxury instead of a necessity. Ethan exhaled. That's just how life is, he said. You have to keep moving. The old man shook his head. No, that's how stress is. Life is different. They stopped at a quiet pond. Nature rests, the man said. Animals rest. The earth rests. But humans believe they must earn rest. He paused, then looked at Ethan with sharp, gentle eyes. You do not need permission to relax your mind. You need courage. Courage? Ethan repeated. Yes, the old man said. It takes courage to stop when the world tells you to keep going. It takes courage to breathe when your mind tells you to panic. It takes courage to let go when your past tells you to hold on. Ethan felt something unlock in his chest, a tiny door opening, letting in peace, the old man's parting words. Before leaving, the old man said, return tomorrow. We still have much to explore. Relaxing the mind is a journey, not an event. Ethan nodded. Thank you, he said quietly. The old man gave him a warm, knowing smile. Don't thank me yet, he said. Thank yourself. You showed up. Most people never do. As the old man walked away, Ethan looked around the park. Nothing had changed. And yet, everything felt different. For the first time in his adult life, Ethan wasn't afraid of his thoughts. He wasn't at war with his mind. He felt the soft, subtle beginnings of peace, a peace that whispered, you're finally coming home. Part 4, Lita, the stillness you run from. The next morning, Ethan didn't rush. He didn't wake up panicking. He didn't grab his phone. He didn't check emails before his feet touched the floor. For the first time in years, he sat on the edge of his bed and took a long, slow breath. His mind wasn't silent, not yet, but it wasn't attacking him either. It felt manageable. He walked to the park with a calmness that surprised him. But when he arrived, the old man wasn't on the bench. The bench was empty. For a moment, panic flickered through him. What if the man wasn't coming back? What if the lessons ended before he truly understood them? He took a shaky breath. Calm down, he whispered. He didn't abandon you. A voice behind him said, I would never abandon someone who is finally learning to stay. Ethan turned. The old man stood beside him with a small paper bag in hand. You okay? The old man asked. Yeah, Ethan said, then laughed a little. Actually, I think I am. The old man smiled gently. Good. Today we begin the hardest lesson. The seventh lesson. The mind fears stillness because it fears truth. The old man motioned to the bench. Sit. Ethan sat. The old man sat beside him. Tell me, he said, what happens when you try to be still? Ethan looked down at his hands. My thoughts get louder, he said. Everything I'm avoiding shows up. Everything I don't want to feel comes to the surface. The old man nodded. That is why most people never relax. They confuse stillness with danger. He leaned forward, lowering his voice. The mind whispers the truth in stillness, and truth is something most people run from. Ethan swallowed. He knew what truths lived inside him. I'm scared I'm not enough. I'm scared I'll disappoint people. I'm scared that I'll never find peace. I'm scared of failing. I'm scared of being alone. He felt exposed, like the man had read every thought. How do I face those truths without panicking? Ethan asked. You don't fight them, the old man said softly. You acknowledge them. He placed his hand over his heart. Stillness is not empty. Stillness is honest. The eighth lesson. Observe, don't absorb. The old man reached into his bag and pulled out 3 stones, smooth, gray, and cold. What are those for? Ethan asked. A demonstration, the man said. He placed the stones gently on the bench. These stones are your thoughts, heavy but simple. Watch. He picked up 1 stone and held it in his palm. When a thought comes, the man said, most people do this. He clutched the stone tightly until his knuckles turned white. They hold it. They absorb it. They believe it. They cling to it. He let out a slow exhale. But this is what you must learn instead. He loosened his grip, letting the stone rest lightly on his palm. Observe, he said. Do not absorb. He opened his hand fully. The stone sat harmlessly in his palm. When a stressful thought appears, don't hold it. Don't feed it. Just look at it. Acknowledge it. Let it pass. He tilted his hand. The stone rolled off the side of his palm, was to the bench. That, he said, is how the mind relaxes. Ethan stared at the stone, amazed at how simple yet powerful the idea was. So my thoughts don't control me, Ethan said quietly. No, the old man replied. They visit you, but they do not own you. The 9th lesson. The mind relaxes in small moments, not big escapes. The old man stood and began walking toward a small garden area Ethan hadn't noticed before. There, the man said, pointing at a flower patch, is your next lesson. Ethan looked confused. At flowers? The old man laughed softly. Yes, sit. Ethan knelt in front of the flower's petals, open, soft, bright against the morning sun. Look closely, the old man said. What do you notice? They're simple, Ethan said. Peaceful. Exactly, the old man replied. That is how relaxation works, through simple moments. He tapped Ethan's shoulder gently. You've been waiting for a big event to relax your mind. A vacation. A perfect day. A moment where all problems disappear. The man shook his head. But the mind does not relax in big escapes. It relaxes in the small, repeated moments you ignore. He pointed at the flowers again. Beauty is medicine. Silence is medicine. Stability is medicine. Kindness is medicine. He looked at Ethan seriously. And you've been starving your mind of all. 4. Ethan felt that deep in his chest. How do I change that? Ethan asked. Pay attention, the man replied simply. Notice life, notice breath, notice beauty, notice yourself. The 10th lesson. You are not your rush. They began walking again, and the old man's tone softened. Ethan, do you know why your mind stays overwhelmed? Why me? Ethan asked. Because you rush everything, the old man said. You rush mornings, you rush meals, you rush conversations. You rush emotions. You rush healing. You rush life. He stopped walking and placed both hands on Ethan's shoulders. You've forgotten how to be slow, and a mind that never slows, never heals. A silence settled between them. Then the man added, relaxation is not an act. It is a pace. Ethan breathed deeply, letting the words sink in. Slow, gentle, present. Maybe peace wasn't something he needed to chase. Maybe it was something he needed to invite and slowly let in. The old man's farewell for the day. As they reached the park exit, the old man touched Ethan's arm lightly. You're doing well, he said. You think so? Ethan asked. I know so, the man replied. Your steps are softer. Your breath is deeper. Your mind is quieter. Your heart is waking up again. Ethan felt warmth spread through his chest. Tomorrow, the old man said, we begin the inner journey. What's that? Ethan asked. The man smiled mysteriously. The journey into yourself, where the loudest storms live, and where the deepest peace waits. He walked away slowly, leaving Ethan standing there, calm, curious, and more hopeful than he'd been in years. The lessons were working. He could feel it. A stillness was beginning to grow inside him. A stillness he had feared, yet desperately needed. Part 5. The Journey Inward. The next morning felt different, heavier, deeper, almost sacred. Ethan woke with the sense that today's lessons would go somewhere he had avoided for years, inside himself. He walked to the park slowly, intentionally, the way the old man had taught him. For once, the world around him didn't feel like something he had to survive. It felt like something he was finally learning to experience. When he reached the familiar bench, the old man was already there. But this time, he wasn't feeding birds. He wasn't reading. He wasn't smiling. He was sitting still, hands folded, eyes closed as if in deep meditation. Ethan sat beside him quietly. After a full minute of silence, the old man opened his eyes and said, "You're ready." "For what?" Ethan asked. "For the part of the journey most people avoid." He looked at Ethan carefully. "The journey into yourself. The 11th lesson. The mind hides what the heart fears." The old man turned gently toward Ethan. "Tell me," he said, "what emotion do you run from the most?" Ethan hesitated. He could handle deadlines, he could handle stress, he could handle noise. But emotions? He cleared his throat. "I guess, sadness?" The old man shook his head. "Try again." "Fear?" Ethan asked. "No." "Anger?" "No." Ethan frowned. "Then what?" The old man's eyes softened. "Loneliness." The word hit Ethan like a punch. His chest tightened. His breath caught. He looked away quickly, but the old man had already seen the truth. "You've been alone in your mind for a long time," the old man said quietly. "You've learned to perform strength, but inside, you feel like no one truly understands you." Ethan's throat burned. "It's not that people don't care," he whispered. "They just don't get it." "I know," the old man replied. "That is why your mind is tired. Loneliness is not the absence of people. It is the absence of being seen." Those words cracked something inside Ethan, something he had sealed tightly for years. The 12th lesson. Feel what you avoid. The old man placed a hand on Ethan's back. "Close your eyes," he said. Ethan obeyed. "Now," the old man continued, "bring to mind the emotion you never want to feel." Immediately something surfaced, a heaviness, a pain tucked behind his ribs, a grief he never named. "I feel," Ethan started, voice shaking. "I feel a weight." "Good," the old man said gently. "Where is it?" "My chest," Ethan whispered. "It feels tight." "That is the emotion you have been running from," the old man said. "Not fear, not stress. It is unfelt pain." Ethan's breath trembled. "I don't want to feel this," he said. "I know," the old man replied, "but feeling is healing. Pain that is not felt becomes tension, and a tense mind can never relax." Ethan wanted to get up. He wanted to walk away. He wanted to bury the emotion again. But the old man placed a gentle hand over his heart. "Stay," he whispered. "Stay with the feeling. Don't run. Don't numb. Just breathe." Ethan inhaled shakily. The weight in his chest felt heavy, but not unbearable. Painful, but real. And strangely, by facing it, he felt it loosening. For the first time, Ethan wasn't avoiding what hurt. He was allowing it. The 13th lesson. Stillness heals what chaos hides. The old man spoke softly. "When life moves fast, your wounds hide in the noise. When you slow down, they come to the surface. This scares most people." He looked at Ethan with deep compassion. "But stillness is where healing begins, not distraction, not avoidance. Stillness." Ethan kept breathing. The tightness in his chest softened with each inhale. "I feel lighter," he whispered. "Not okay, but lighter." "That is peace," the old man said. "Not the absence of pain, but the acceptance of it. The 14th lesson: forgiveness is a gift you give your mind. When Ethan opened his eyes, the old man placed something in his hand, a single white feather. "What's this for?" Ethan asked. "For the next step," the man replied. "Forgiveness." Ethan stiffened. "For who?" he asked quietly. "Others? Or myself?" The old man held his gaze. "Yourself." Ethan felt heat rise behind his eyes. He swallowed hard. "I don't know how to forgive myself." "Forgiveness is not a skill," the old man said. "It is a decision, a choice to stop hurting yourself for something you did when you didn't know better." He pointed to Ethan's chest. "That tightness you felt earlier? Much of it is self-blame." Ethan looked down at the feather. "Why a feather?" he asked. "Because forgiveness is not heavy," the old man said. "It only feels heavy before you release it." Ethan closed his fingers gently around the feather. For the first time in years, he allowed himself to whisper, "I'm sorry, and I forgive you." Tears filled his eyes, not painful tears, but cleansing ones. The old man nodded approvingly. "That," he said softly, "is how the mind truly begins to relax." The 15th lesson: the mind rests where it feels safe. They sat quietly for a moment. Then the old man said, "Your mind cannot relax when it believes the world is unsafe, and when it believes you are unsafe." "What does that mean?" Ethan asked. "You have never been gentle with yourself," the old man said. "You rush, you criticize, you pressure, you punish." He placed two fingers on Ethan's forehead. "This," he said, "is a battlefield, but it needs to become a home." Ethan closed his eyes again, letting the words sit inside him like warm sunlight. A home. He wanted that. He needed that. The old man's final words for the day. As the lesson ended, the old man stood and looked at Ethan with a softness that felt fatherly. "You are doing something remarkable," he said. "What's that?" Ethan asked. "You are facing yourself," the man replied. "And most people go their entire lives without doing that." Ethan felt a deep calm wash over him. "Tomorrow," the old man continued, "we begin the chapter called Rebuilding. That is when the true transformation begins." Ethan nodded slowly. "I'll be here." The old man smiled. "I know." And as Ethan walked home, he noticed something profound. His mind wasn't fighting him. His thoughts weren't overwhelming him. His emotions weren't drowning him. For the first time in his adult life, he felt like he could hear himself breathe. The journey inward was painful, but it was also beautiful. Peace was no longer a distant dream. It was beginning to live inside him. Part 6. The Art of Letting Go. Late evening settled over Harborville like a soft blanket. The sky was painted in strokes of violet and gold, and the scent of the ocean drifted through the air. Ethan walked along the quiet wooden pier, hands in his pockets, heart strangely peaceful. But peace hadn't come easily. It had been earned slowly, painfully, intentionally. For the first time in years, Ethan felt not empty, not overwhelmed, not lost, just present. He looked down at the water, watching the waves brush against the post beneath him. A gentle rhythm, a natural calmness, something he had ignored his entire adult life. He closed his eyes, breathed in deeply, and whispered to himself, "Maybe life isn't about controlling everything. Maybe it's about letting go." A conversation that changed everything. The next morning, Ethan sat across from Dr. Hale in her small office. Books filled the shelves. Soft light spilled through the windows. A plant sat on the corner of her desk, a reminder of life's quiet persistence. Dr. Hale leaned forward and asked gently, "Ethan, what does peace mean to you?" He had never been asked that before. Not by a teacher, not by his parents, not by himself. He thought for a moment. "Peace means not fighting myself." She smiled. "Exactly. Most people aren't tired because life is hard. They're tired because they fight themselves every day. Those words hit him deeply. She continued, "Your mind is like the ocean. You can't stop the waves, but you can learn to surf." Ethan nodded. "Then I need to stop drowning in my own thoughts." "Yes," she replied, "and start floating." The mind's heaviest weight, Dr. Hale handed him a small card. On it were three questions. What can I control? What can I influence? What must I release? These three questions, she said, are keys. Use them every day. Your stress isn't caused by life. It's caused by holding on to what isn't yours to carry. Ethan stared at the card, absorbing the meaning. He realized he had been carrying guilt that wasn't his expectations placed on him by others. Old mistakes, fear of disappointing people, pressure to succeed fast, stress from things he couldn't change. It was like dragging a backpack full of stones. He whispered, "I didn't know how heavy I'd gotten." Dr. Hale stood and placed a gentle hand on his shoulder. Everyone feels that way. The strongest people are those who finally decide to set the bag down. A moment of release. Later that day, Ethan stood on the beach. The sun was low, the waves calm, the world quiet. He picked up a small stone and held it tightly. "This stone," he said softly, "is everything I'm letting go of. Fear, pressure, self-doubt, chaos, overthinking, trying to please everyone." He closed his eyes and threw the stone into the sea. As it disappeared beneath the waves, something inside him loosened. Not everything, but something important. A first step. He whispered, "I deserve a peaceful life." And for the first time, he believed it. The power of daily stillness. Over the next weeks, Ethan began applying the letting go practice daily. When stress appeared, he paused and asked, "Is this mine to carry?" When guilt rose, he breathed slowly and reminded himself, "The past doesn't define me." When people pressured him, he repeated, "Their expectations are not my obligations." When his thoughts raced, he placed a hand on his chest and murmured, "Slow down, I'm safe." Each time he did these small things, the knots in his mind loosened just a little more. His sleep improved. His patience grew. He felt lighter, calmer, steadier. He was learning something priceless. Relaxing your mind isn't one big moment. It's a collection of small moments you repeat until peace becomes your natural state. A message to the listener, YouTube monologue style. If you're listening to this, I want you to hear me clearly. You don't have to carry everything. You don't have to control everything. You don't have to fix everything. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is take a breath and whisper, "I let this go." Let go of the fear. Let go of the pressure. Let go of the noise. Let go of the guilt. Let go of the past. Your mind deserves rest. Your heart deserves space. Your soul deserves quiet. You deserve peace. And here is the end of our today's motivational video. If you like this video, please make sure to subscribe my channel. Goodbye, friends, and see you soon in another video.